Hey, this is Mr. Hanson. I wanted to work with you on a word problem and show you by doing this word problem that we can really use a lot of our properties in algebra that we've learned to solve an equation. So here it is. The length of a rectangle is 4 more inches than twice its width. If the perimeter is 44 inches, what is the length and the width? So I've drawn a rectangle and labeled it. The length is 4 more than twice the width. That's right here. That's this expression. 4 more than 2 times the width. Okay, you might remember perimeter means that we have to double both sides because we have to add up this side here and that side there. So I'm going to make an equation here. Double 2w plus 4, and then double w, and that equals the perimeter. And we have some given information here. The perimeter is 44 inches. So let's take a look at this equation and see what we can do to solve for w. First of all, we've got 2 of these 2w plus 4s. Let's distribute this out. So instead of, if we had one 2w plus 4, that would just be 2w plus 4. But we've got 2 of them, so we've got 2 of this piece here. That'll make it 4w. And we've got 2 of this piece here. That'll make it 8. So there we have it. 4w plus 8 plus 2w equals 44. We distributive property. Okay, now let's get our w's together. I'm going to do this. I'm going to go 4w plus 2w plus 8 equals 44. We did the old switcheroo with 8 and 2w, and that's called the commutative property. It doesn't matter what order you add things in. And the reason I'm doing that is so that I can collect these like terms here, get them together. And now 4w plus 2w is 6w. I'm combining like terms there. Plus 8 equals 44. Okay, so far, up to this point, we've just simplified that big old expression, and it's looking a lot simpler than it used to. Now we want to get w alone. We want to figure out what w is. We want to isolate it. And this is where we start thinking about properties of equality. We're going to have to, let's see what we're doing to w. First of all, we're timesing by 6, then adding 8. That's kind of the order of operations that we do it in. So if we wanted to undo this, we have to go in the reverse order, and we have to use inverse operations. So I'm going to subtract 8 on both sides of this equation. That's a property of equality, subtraction property of equality. You can subtract the same thing from both sides, and it stays equivalent or equal. So now we have 6w plus 8 minus 8, that's just 0, and that's the additive identity property there. I'm sorry, the additive inverse property. When you add the opposite to a number, you get 0. And 44 minus 8 is 14 minus 8, 36. Okay, we've got one step left to solving for w. We're going to do the multiplicative inverse. So you could say 6 times 1/6, or we could say 6 divided up into 6 parts. It means the same thing. And if you divide the left side by 6, you've got to divide the right side by 6, divide it up into 6 parts too. And so 6 divided by 6 is 1. That's the multiplicative inverse property. And 36 divided by 6 is 6. So there we have it. We know that the width is 6 units. So I'm going to just kind of plug that in right there. That's 6. So this width would also be 6. You might remember in a rectangle opposite sides are equal or congruent. And then if you plugged in 6 right here for this w, you've got 2 times 6, that's 12, plus 4, it's going to be 16. And then we'll have 16 down there. Now let's just see if this all adds up to 44. We've got 16 plus 16 plus 6 plus 6. So 6 plus 6 plus 6 plus 6, that's like 6 times 4, 24. And 2 plus 1 plus 1, it's 44. And so there's your answer. I hope you can recognize we talked about 5 or 6 or 7 properties. Let's just list them off again. Distributive property, commutative property, combining like terms, additive inverse here, and two properties. Additive inverse makes that 0, and we can subtract the same thing from both sides that keeps it equal, so the equality property. And then we have the multiplicative inverse, and we have an equality property of multiplication. So lots of things going on there. It's just important that you understand how these properties work so you can solve a problem like this. Thank you.